Have you ever wondered what really separates a company that's here today, gone tomorrow, from one that builds a real, lasting legacy? A lot of times, the secret isn't some hot new product. It's a philosophy, something deep in their DNA. So today we're going to dive into what's called strategic quality planning. And I know, it sounds like a corporate buzzword, right? But trust me, we're going to treat it as what it really is, the actual blueprint for building something that lasts. So here's how we're going to break down this blueprint. Think of it in 5 steps. First, we'll get into why quality is the secret strategy that nobody talks about enough. Then we'll lay the foundation, which is all about people and time. After that, we'll crunch the numbers on the price of perfection. Then we'll see how to put this whole plan into action. And finally, the best part, we'll look at the ultimate payoff. All right, let's jump right into part 1, quality, the secret strategy. This is really all about a huge mindset shift. It's about moving away from being reactive, constantly putting out fires, to being proactive. It's about building something that's fireproof right from the start. So let me ask you a big question. It's one that probably keeps a lot of leaders up at night. Why is it that some really great companies, companies with amazing products, just fail? Well, the answer is kind of simple. And honestly, it's a trap that so many brilliant companies fall right into. They get completely obsessed with the product, that one shiny thing. But they totally forget about the plan, the map that's supposed to guide the whole journey. And that is exactly where strategic quality planning comes in. See, it's not some little department tucked away in a corner. No way. It's the master blueprint for the entire organization. It's about getting everyone, and I mean everyone, from the brand new hire all the way up to the CEO, pointing in the same direction, aiming for one single goal, creating real, lasting value by making the customer genuinely happy. Okay, so how do we even start building something like this? Well, that brings us to part 2, the foundation. Because before you can even think about drawing up the plans, you gotta have 2 rock-solid pillars in place. And those pillars are your people and your whole attitude towards time. And this quote, this really gets to the heart of the mindset you need. It's from an old shipbuilder in Massachusetts, and he said, "We build good ships, at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but we build good ships." Just think about that. That is not a business calculation. That's a moral compass. It's an ethical commitment. It means quality comes first, no matter what. That is the bedrock you build a legacy on. Now, a commitment like that has to start at the top, right? But here's the thing. Real leadership, especially in a quality-first company, isn't just about barking orders. It's about influence. Effective leaders, they use a mix of different kinds of power. Sure, there's the authority that comes with the job title, but there's also power from expertise, from charisma. All of these things are tools that use for one single purpose, to inspire every single person to buy into that shared goal of amazing quality. Okay, so the second pillar is time. And this is where so many companies trip up. They want a quick fix. But this isn't a quick fix. Get this, the legendary quality guru Shigeo Shingo, he noted that it took Toyota 25 years, a quarter of a century to get its quality systems to where they needed to be. So the lesson here is crystal clear, right? This is a marathon, not a sprint. So a 25-year commitment. Wow. That sounds expensive, right? And that question leads us perfectly into our third section, the price of perfection. We've talked about the why, now let's get into the how much. We're going to calculate the real costs of quality. So let's just tackle the big question head on, the one the finance department is always asking. Is quality an expense or is it an investment? Well, the answer gets really clear when you look at it through something called the PAF paradigm. Basically, quality costs come in 3 flavors. First, you've got failure costs. This is the bad stuff. Rework, scrap, warranty claims, it's money you're just throwing away. Then you have appraisal costs, like inspections and testing, which is basically spending money to find the mistakes. But then there's prevention. This is where the magic happens. Every single dollar you spend here on stuff like training your team properly, it saves you a ton of money on those other 2. It's spending a little now to avoid spending a lot later. It is, hands down, the smartest investment a company can make. Okay, so we've got the mindset. We understand the money part. So now it's time for part 4, the plan in action. Let's look at how we take this beautiful blueprint off the paper and actually start building with it in the real world. Now, there are a bunch of ways to build a strategy, but one that's super clear is the forced choice model. It's a really logical flow. First, you lock down your mission. What are we really here to do? Then, you have to be brutally honest and look at your own strengths and weaknesses. At the same time, you're looking outside at the forces that could help or hurt you. It's only after all that homework that you start coming up with actual strategic options. It's a really disciplined way to turn a vague ambition into a concrete plan. So you've got this great plan. Now what? How do you get everybody on board? Well, this is where a brilliant Japanese concept called Hoshin Kanri comes into play, specifically an idea called catchball. Think about it literally. Leadership doesn't just issue orders from an ivory tower. Instead, they set the big vision and then they throw it down to the teams. The teams on the ground, they catch it, they look at it, they figure out what's realistic, and then they throw back their feedback and their own plans. It's this back and forth, this constant, respectful game of catch that actually makes a strategy come to life. So you do all this work, you make that deep ethical commitment, you invest for the long haul, you plan meticulously, you play catchball with your teams. What happens then? What's the result of all that effort? Well, let's get to our final section and see the ultimate payoff. And the results? They are so simple and so powerful. When you focus on quality, you create this amazing upward spiral. Getting rid of waste means productivity goes way up. Preventing mistakes means costs go way down. And what happens when your productivity is high and your costs are low? Your profits go through the roof. It's the ultimate proof that building good ships isn't just some nice fuzzy philosophy. It is damn good business. And that really brings us full circle, doesn't it? Strategic quality planning, it was never just about making a better product. It's about building a better company. A stronger, more resilient, more profitable company that can actually stand the test of time. It's about the legacy you leave behind. So I'll leave you with this one thought. What legacy are you building?